Simcas, would you stand with us? I wanted to really hear your voices this morning, so we're going to start with this one, just acoustic and vocals. Isn't it just like heaven when you walk into the room? There's not a thing that's hidden when every eye is on you. Can't get enough of your presence. It's the perfect point of view. Isn't it just like heaven? Ooh. Come a little closer, stay a little longer. Ooh. I can't get enough of you. Ooh. Come a little closer, stay a little longer. Ooh. I can't get enough of you. That's something beautiful. Let's sing this all together. Doesn't it sound like heaven when you're singing over me? There's not a voice more constant. Your melodies, they never cease. Here I will stand in your presence, in my true identity. Doesn't it sound like, yeah, it sounds like, just like heaven. to my soul, and I'm swept away. Rushing through your veins, warm and devoted, tenderness filled with strength, and you heal to the bone. You speak life to the soul, and I'm swept away. I'm out here in the open, trying to stay the path. Somewhere in between the promise and the place it comes to pass. Who knows what it'll cost me or how long it'll last? But I told you I will follow, I'll never take it back. Hang on every word you ever say, for like seeing the invisible. Yeah, somehow I see it. Oh, the lies at the end of the road, and I don't know the timing, so I'm guessing it's not mine to know. Lord, help me believe it. All those days when I feel like I'm told, oh, when faith isn't feeling, it's just trusting when you feel the most. And someday I'll see it, reach the house at the end of the road. Should I road leave me lonely? Oh, I know I am Son goes, how are we feeling this morning? I know there's a lot of chaos and anticipation out there right now, but what I want to encourage y'all to do is just be in this moment, be in God's presence, give your mind rest and ease and peace in this moment. We've got one more song. It's a new song we've been learning for the last couple of weeks. It's called Wind Meets Fire. I hope you guys have been enjoying it, and we're going to sing it. You guys ready? Let's do it. Let my life be an altar, light of my lungs with your praise. 'Cause I can't breathe until you breathe, so breathe on me. Let my life be an altar. I can't breathe until you breathe, so breathe on me. Let my life be an altar.
This is a moment when wind meets fire. Come on in, our hearts are burning for fresh revival. Blow again. This is a moment when wind meets fire. Come on in, our hearts are burning for fresh revival. Blow again, our God is consuming fire. Our God is a holy way. Whatever you speak is done. Whatever you touch will live. Our God is consuming fire. Our God is a holy way. Whatever you speak is done. Whatever you touch will live.
Whatever you speak is done. Whatever you touch will live. So come on in, come on in. Whatever you touch will live. Come on in, come on in. Whatever you touch will live. Come on in, come on in. Whatever you touch will live. Come on in, come on in.
Whatever you touch will live. Come on in, come on in. Whatever you touch will live. Come on in, come on in. This is the moment when wind meets fire.
breathe until you breathe. So breathe on me. Yes. So coach, you all sounded amazing this morning. Thank you.
Guten Morgen. My name is Sigmund Freud. As the 35th best expert in psychoanalysis, I've been asked to be giving some practical prescriptions for everyday life. Now, my methods may be unorthodox and go against conventional wisdoms. However, if you listen to them precisely, you will have great success. Today's subject, joy. The key to a joyful life is to hold on to your grudges. Resentment is a powerful source of energy that you can put into every aspect of your life. Thank you for joining me this week on Practical Prescription. Now to mine apprentice, Dr. Larry Bockham.
Good morning. Let's try it again. Good morning. Let's say that while we can, because, life is good. So I'm going to give us a quick moment and tell you what's happening in Life Church at the end of the service today. If you want to share communion, it's down front. But also to let you know, if you haven't heard, there's a storm brewing. And for some of you, that's all that's on your mind. For others, you may not know. But if you watch the weather, it looks like it's apparently heading our way. So at 9 o'clock, I said, well, I'm about 95% sure we're going to open as a shelter. So between 9 o'clock and today, I'm 100% sure we're going to be open as a shelter. The only way it would stop is if the storm just dissipates. How many think that's going to happen? Yeah, none. So anyways, but we've opened as a shelter a couple times. This building is built as a hurricane shelter, hurricane-proof shelter. The county wanted to borrow it. As a matter of fact, they wanted to borrow it. They wanted to use it for 20 years. They wanted us to go into contract to open it as a shelter. I came in with a nice conversation. Okay, it's great, but what do we get? You get our building for 20 years. What are you going to give us? We're going to give you a contract. So what does that mean? We're in construction. We will increase your windows to this speed. I said, they're already at that speed. So really, by the end of the conversation, it was very pleasant. But thank you. But if there's a storm coming, we want you to know we'll open on our terms with our people. And we have a lot of county and state people that work here. They're all trained in this area. So if you're looking for a place to come during the storm, Tuesday we're going to open at noon. And the storm is probably going to hit Wednesday morning from what we know. And we don't know for sure. But if you feel like that you're insecure and you want to come to a place that's a little different, this is the place. What's different? You can bring your pet here, but be very clear, they have to be in a crate so that when you're sleeping, they're in a crate or on a leash wherever they go. There'll be some place for them to go potty around the building. But secondly, a lot of things are happening. The last storm, what I noticed is down by the coffee bar, there was a group, there was about a dozen drinking wine. And they didn't care about the storm. There's another group that were watching TV. They were into it. There's some others that were playing games, and the kids were playing manhunt. Manhunt's like hide and seek. And as a matter of fact, they said, can we do this next week? The benefit of being in a community like this, there's a great storm distraction. And I know some people who stay home, they have capable homes, but they suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's kind of what happens in those kind of situations. But I love to tell the story about my cousin who lived in Homestead during Hurricane Andrew. And the eye of the storm went over his house, and he had put the plywood up. They were secure, and his next door neighbor was his brother-in-law. During the eye of the storm, when everything was blown out on his brother-in-law house, his whole family, because it was calm, escaped their house and came to his house for shelter. And I was a first responder. I was on there at his house for a week after that, brought provisions down. I saw the devastation of Andrew firsthand. And later, my cousin said, we're tired of South Florida. We're going to move to North Florida. So they moved to Monticello, which is about 25 miles north of Perry. You didn't know where Perry was until last week. So they evacuated to Jacksonville last week, and they came back, and I sent me a video. And he's like my best friend in the world. I started talking to him. He goes, I just don't get it. He said, why is it that, I got hit down there, and then up here, I move up here, and I get here? And I said, well, all I can say is I think God is pissed at you. So I haven't got the text yet, but I'm sure it's coming later today about God's angry with me now about whatever's going on. But here's the thing. as community, we stand together. We want to help one another. We want to encourage one another. We want, if you need a safe place, this will be a safe place for you. If you're sheltering at home, it's fine. That's wonderful too. If we can help you in any way after the storm, please let us know. We'll do our best. We try to make sure that people in our community get what they need. Fair enough? Aren't you glad to be a part of a community like that? I am. Give yourself a hand. Thank you so much for being a part of that. Last week we talked about the practical prescription, number 1, and Dr. Troy Doucet, he began our series. He launched it very well, and we're taking it from the fruit of the Spirit, and this is what the fruit of the Spirit is. But the fruit of the Spirit is love last week, joy this week, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things, Paul says, there is no law. So over these next few weeks, we're going to give you a practical prescription on every one of these things. These are things that I practice. I mean, there's certain things I do that help me. I breathe in, I breathe out, I smile. It works better. In traffic, I used to say this, the Lord is my shepherd. Sometimes there are people in front of me, I have to say it 6 times. Sometimes if they have a Suncoast logo, 7. But the Lord is, but there's certain things we can do that if we practice these things, they become part of our normal activity and our routine. It helps us deal with stress. In psychology, we say we do things to de-escalate our stress and our tensions in our life. Why? Because it's healthy for us. These are healthy prescriptions. And the week 1, here's the prescription. Get up every day, take that card. And if you don't get one, you can get one on the back of the Grand Central, back in the hallway. And this is what it says. I'm loved, accepted, and free. It's on your refrigerator. Take it home, put it on your mirror, put it on the counter somewhere to where you can see it, put it in your car, and you have to practice breathing. Breathe in, and then breathe out. The second time, breathe in, and you say, I'm loved, accepted, and free. Try it with me. Breathe in and breathe out. Don't say anything. Breathe in, now say it. I am loved, accepted, and free. Now, the one we have today, I'm going to share it with you. It's in your hand, but we'll talk about it toward the end of the teaching. But today we're looking at the second. It's called joy. James captures this very well, the book of James. In chapter 2, verse 1 through 4, listen to what he says. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So I want to point you back to it. Look at what it says. Consider it pure joy, not possible joy. Pure joy, and it doesn't say if you face trials, but when you face trials of many kinds. That's what it says. I love what it says, but the better question? What does it mean? That's where I get to talk. So what does it mean? The word trials means things in our lives that involve significant pain and suffering. So the book of James is saying when something is bringing you significant pain or suffering in a significant way, consider it to be a benefit. Consider it pure joy. Now I read that, someone says, you're going to go through a lot of pain, and I'm going to give you a lot of pain, and when you do, I want you to be joyful about it. You know what my gut reaction is? No, thank you. No, thank you. I'd rather not go through the pain to get the joy. I'd rather not have the joy. But sometimes it's about as realistic to me as someone who says, eat anything you want and you'll lose weight. Doesn't make sense, does it? What does it really mean? I want to share with you 3 thoughts as we help us understand what it means. And here's the first thought. It's in your notes. Find joy when, not if. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds. What about hurricanes? There's a storm coming. Are we supposed to consider it pure joy? For some, yes. For others, no. Some people are going to run in panic. The storm is coming even days ago. I heard, oh my goodness, the storm's coming, the storm's coming. There's people who are overreactors. They're up here. No matter what happens, it's an overreaction. And then there's people who appropriately react. They consider the options and they react accordingly. And then there's a group that I'm in. It's called underreactors. I don't react very well. And sometimes I'm the calming force to a fault. So aren't you, well, it's no big deal. It's just going to be a little rain. It's going to be a little water. So what? You're flooded. So what? You put all your stuff out to the curb. You have to cut your drywall off here. It's fine. Where I live, it's fine. You know the difference between major surgery and minor surgery? Majors when it happens to me, minors when it happens to you. And sometimes when the storm happens to you, it's a minor thing. But oh my goodness, what do you mean when it happens to me? It's significant. And what he's saying is consider it pure joy when we face issues, not if we face them, because we all will. Regardless of our actions to these words, how we deal with pain and suffering is important. So I ask this question. Show of hands, how many of you have ever been in an automobile accident? Just curious. You wrecked your car. Yeah, that's good. You know what the experts in the auto industry say? That each of us can expect to be in 2 automobile accidents in our lifetime. You know, I've always felt like I was above normal. I've been in 5 automobile accidents before I was 18. 2 cars that were totaled. I was driving one, the other I was riding in the front seat, had to go to the emergency room with a bunch of stitches in my head. So, next question, how many of you been to the emergency room? Oh, we've been there. I mean, automobile accidents and emergency rooms, they go hand in hand. Just 2 examples of some things that we think are inevitable, that possibly happen, but it really is inevitable. And even though it's not fun to think about it, when it comes to pain and problems in life, listen carefully, none of us are immune to the struggles and the pain and circumstance of life. That's why I think this series is so down to earth and real, because God helps us deal in the tough times. James says when you face trials and sufferings, not if you do. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He suggests that no matter what you're going through, consider it joy. So what could he mean? Does he say, well, I want you to feel good about it? Does he say, I want you to just have a positive attitude? Does he say, when you go through a hard time, text all your friends with 6 smiley emojis? No. The best way to understand what this means is this: consider the tough times as an opportunity for growth. Consider is an accounting term. In accounting, you attract some things profit, some things loss. And what he's really saying is there's actual profit in the tough times, and the profit is an opportunity for joy. I don't know what issues you're facing today, and I know you're facing some. Some of you are really freaked out about the hurricane, and that's okay. Some of you say, well, you don't know, I've been through several of these, and I get stressed. I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I know my cousin, when he went through Andrew, for years, when there would be a thunderstorm, he said anxiety would just crawl up inside of him. He said the stress from that storm creates this anxiety. But maybe that's not for you today. Maybe you're in a relationship that you feel like there's no hope in it. It's not getting better. It seems like it's a dead end. You tried, but it's not going to work. Or maybe your biggest trial right now is your job, your employment. All you do is show up, you're collecting a paycheck, but there's no joy in it. Maybe your trial right now is something else, your physical. Your body just not right. Something's going on. Maybe you've heard the word cancer, or you've got high blood pressure, or something's going on. You know your health is not good. Or maybe something you're dealing with is emotional. You're dealing with just heart-wrenching loneliness. You're around people all the time, but you feel like you're on your own. So how can the painful things, the things that involve real suffering, be opportunities for joy? I love to talk about this word. Small word, easy for me to spell, joy, 3 letters. In the dictionary, it's a noun. Synonyms, are, what does it mean to be joyful? Delight, jubilation, gladness, exhilaration, exuberance, elation, euphoria, bliss, ecstasy. Those are joy words. And its verb, the word joy, is putting into action. How do you do joy? You rejoice. The Bible is full of the words. It says, rejoice in the Lord always. I'll say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. And in the Psalms, rejoice in the Lord. I got a letter from a friend of mine years ago, part of a Thursday morning group. I call it my Thursday morning scoundrels. You know who you are. We've been meeting for many years. And if you're looking for a Thursday morning group, guys, it's available for you. Just see me and I'll tell you the details about it. But here's what this guy wrote. I talked about joy years ago, and he wrote me this letter. Before the teachings of Jesus were such a big part of my life, the word joy was simply an innocent sort of happiness, certainly temporary and seldom felt. It was something someone else had. Mostly kids had joy, whose innocence seemed so much more prevalent than my own, which was full of sin, sloth, and 6 other unsavory traits. Jesus didn't love me in my mind. He loves church people. He loves good people. To joy, for some people, is nothing more than dish soap. It's a good pun. They have not learned this wonderful life lesson. There's something and someone who is greater who loves them. These are the people who need joy most. To those who follow Jesus, joy is the result of loving God and letting God love you just as you are. And he signed that. I love that letter because he is beginning to understand what joy is all about. There's a great Chicago Cubs story. If you're a baseball fan, you'll like this. I've told this story before, but toward the end of 1911 season, there's a pitcher, a right-handed pitcher by the name of Larry Cheney. He was on the mound, he threw the ball in, and when he did, the guy hit the ball, and it came straight back at him. It came back so fast he couldn't get his glove up, but his pitching hand caught the ball to keep from hitting him in the face, but he couldn't stop it, and it came back, and his thumb with the ball here drove right into his nose and broke his nose and his thumb, but just to protect himself. The next year, because his grip was never the same, he lost some speed off his pitch, so he began to experiment with holding the ball a different way. And Larry Cheney in 1911, 1912 created a pitch that was now known as the knuckleball. If you're baseball, you've heard of the knuckleball. And in the next year, he went 26-10, 26 wins, 10 losses, and tying the lead for the most wins and racking up the most saves. Clearly, he did not let what happened to him get the best of him. Some of the stuff that makes us happy is so temporary, but joy is deep stuff. It's this underlying sense that no matter what comes at me, even if I can't deflect it, even if it breaks my hand and my nose, I'm going to come back because I realize that life is more than something that just hit me or put me down. Trials are considered to be an opportunity for joy. Trials open our heart to pain, and we often search for meaning. A heart that's asking this question, and we ask it, why is this happening? God, why are you doing this to me? And the answer is probably the wrong question. Why is this happening? I don't know, but what I do know is God is not doing this to me, but as I'm going through it, God is with me. My life has known pain. I have eight brothers and sisters. I've lost 2 brothers, lost a dad, a mother-in-law, father-in-law, a couple of nephews and nieces. I've gone to the hospital emergency room for kidney stones. I've had both shoulders surgically repaired. I've had a 5-hour heart ablation surgery. You know, that's where they put you out for 5 hours. And when they brought me out from that, they said, you know, we had to stop your heart. Anybody here that had their heart stopped? Not the best day. And then they put some adrenaline to make it go rapid. And the guy said, we just want to be sure we got the nerves, because I have a WPW, is a Wolf Parkinson White, a disorder where 2 nerves were too close and they jump back over, and I'd go from 70 beats a minute to 200 beats a minute like that. I'd had it since I was a teenager, and after 5 hours of surgery, guess what? They fixed it. And when I came out of it, the guy who woke me up, he said, we got it. You'll never have this again. We got it. We're 100% on this. He goes, I know, I've had it done twice. Even though I was still sedated, I go, hey, wait, how could you have it done twice? He said, well, they missed a little spot the first time. They had to go back and do it. He said, we didn't miss it with you. So I've known my share of pain. I've seen friends pass away, community members. What now? In my connection with God, I found joy and the hope for the future. Joy is based on this deep trust that, God, you are with me regardless. I don't have to do this on my own. Nothing happening to us is more important than our connection with God, despite tough times or not. Which leads me to the second thought today, and it's this. Perseverance is a result of faithfulness. James says, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Consider it joy, because in the long run, when you come out of it on the other side, you realize you have been with God for a long period of time. So what is God doing to us and in us through these tough times? Where is he going with his idea of trials and circumstances ending in joy? Well, there's a bunch of data out there now, what researchers call AQ. Now, we all have heard of IQ. What's your IQ? What's your intelligent quotient? We've heard of EQ, what's your emotional quotient? And AQ, what is your adversity quotient? Adversity quotient, AQ, came out of studying the lives of people who experienced huge adversity but still did okay. This is what they studied. They studied why kids, or how kids grew up in a really bad neighborhood, and they still do well. Why do individuals overcome abusive childhoods when many do not? Why do some very gifted, high IQ people fall short of their potential? Why do some organizations thrive when competition was toughest and other companies get crushed? The answer is the adversity quotient. Research says the most important predictor of a person's success is how they deal with adversity or tough times. It's really about why some people quit and other people do not. I love Malcolm Gladwell's book, David and Goliath. He talks about adversity in lives of people, and I recommend you read it. It's a good read. But it's talking about the people who have the adversity, but they rise above it. And it's sort of like a callus on your hand that all of a sudden it helps you in the future. Gladwell's book gives several examples of people who achieve greatness because they refuse to let heartache win. The book of James is teaching us this, that God is trying to build some serious AQ, adversity quotient, into us. AQ is built when we've gone through tremendous heartache, but we still see God in us. Often the way to see God bring good out of heartache is when you and I say, I'm just not quitting. I know things are tough. I'm not blaming God. I'm with God and He's with me. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to stick with trusting Him. The opportunity for joy is found in our God connection despite pain and struggles. So this is what he says, remember? Consider it pure joy because you know that at the end of the day, perseverance, your faithfulness will continue. Joy comes from knowing that whatever we're going through can end up okay. God can use all my experiences. They're not wasted. The first element in experience is hang in there. Perseverance is such an important thing when it comes to being a Christ follower because perseverance is what God gives you. It's the God-given, God-developed ability to not give up and not give in no matter what happens. Perseverance means to hold on. I had a pastor when I was young, as a teenager, and he said this phrase so many times. You know, sometimes you hear it, and I got tired of hearing it. But you know, there's only one thing I remember he ever said. So I guess he said it the right amount of times. He said, when you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. And I heard that so many times, and I can still remember the guy, when you get to the end of the rope, tie, what does he mean? Persevere. Don't let go. When you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on because you know God is there with you. Perseverance is trusting God in the middle of a storm. Even if the name is Milton. Remember when Jesus was with his disciples in the boat on the Sea of Galilee and the storm blew up? They're all freaking out. Oh my goodness, the storm is coming. I wonder, let's track the trajectory of the storm. No, they were in the boat. They didn't see it coming. All of a sudden the storm is on them, the wind and waves, they're concerned. And what's Jesus doing? He's sleeping. He's taking a nap. Well, what's the lesson here? One person was trusting his Heavenly Father and the others were freaking out. Now, I want you to know some days I'm in one camp and some days I'm in the other, just like you are. But I want to be in the camp where I trust God more days. And say, God, I know the storm is raging, but the peace of God that dwells in me is greater than any storm that's raging on the outside. Consider it pure joy when you face trials, even when it's simple things. You know, occasionally, about once a year, I'm blessed to lose my voice through laryngitis. I remember one Wednesday I had things to do, meetings to attend, but I realized I had to speak on the weekend, so I stayed home Wednesday and didn't talk all day. And I didn't go in Thursday. Consider it pure joy when you can't talk, when you can't speak, when you're silent. And then the other side, consider it pure joy when the pastor's not in, you can do whatever you want. Maturity is knowing my voice will come back. This is just a delay, which leads to the last thought, and it's this. Transformation is the result of perseverance. James says, perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature, complete, not lacking anything. So what is God up to? Ready? You'll hear this a lot. The sun goes, transformation. He wants you to change and become the best version of you that you can. And you don't have to do that by yourself. You do that best when you're connected to the God who lives within you. He wants his love to transform us into people who do not let pain and the problem call the shots. He wants to transform us into people when other people are screaming and shouting, we're just saying it's okay because my life is in God's hands. When we persevere and we stick to the radical teachings of Jesus for our lives, we become more and more the people we were meant to be. Whatever these trials are, they are opportunities For what? For joy. Persevere. Joy comes in the morning. Let perseverance do its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. You know, one of the things I've discovered is that I grow in the challenges of life. Don't you? I remember one of the challenges recently was back in May. Becky and I took care primarily, not totally, of Ricardo's parents' help. We took care of Leighton in London, the 10 and 9-year-old grandchildren, for 10 days. We're grandparents, and I say this very boldly. I challenge, there's not a grandfather in this room that's better than I am for the first hour. First hour, I'm a AAA plus. Second hour, B minus. Third hour, maybe C. But we had them for days and days. And I learned the secret. You know the secret? Take a deep breath, breathe in and breathe out and say, I'm loved, accepted, and free. And then the next one we're going to learn in a minute. I'm going to cheat and tell you it early. The second one is breathe in and breathe out and say, every day is a gift. Every hour I get to spend with my grandchildren is a gift. It is a blessing. And I learned a couple things. One of the things is keep them well fed. Right? And even if they don't eat, I need to keep well fed. Life is better when they're fed. It's better when I'm fed. Doesn't that sound just like us? Joy can be found in knowing, trusting that food is coming. Let me change that. Joy can be found in knowing and trusting that God will always provide. He's always there. Joy is celebrating, despite hunger, despite pain, that I've not been forgotten, that God loves me. Trusting God, James says, we become mature, complete, not lacking anything. So after all this talk of perseverance, maturity, what does James say we should do? Act like nothing's wrong? Keep a stiff upper lip? No, he says, if you don't know what you're doing and you're really frustrated, look to God, ask him. So this week, maybe in the storm or some circumstance comes up, oh, what was the pastor saying this week? I don't remember. He had these great little prescriptions, and I didn't put them where he said. I don't remember where they are. Maybe they blew away in the storm. I'm loved, accepted, and free. Every day is a gift. What was it? Let me give you another one. Ask God for wisdom. God, in this circumstance, what can I do to keep from overreacting and maybe even underreacting, but trusting at the right level? You know, whatever you're going through, I think what he wants to whisper to us and tell us, I will be with you. Chances are right now someone's trying to fix something in their life. The message for us today is trust God, persevere. If it's financial, don't give up, persevere. If you're wounded, don't give up, persevere. If it's a health issue, don't give up. If you're afraid, don't give up, persevere. We may not always get it, see it, or understand it. It may not turn out like we want, but I need to trust God regardless. We consider trials as a platform for joy. No matter what negative thing happens in my life today, I say, what can be the good that comes out of this? Now, very clear. God does not cause flat tires. He does not cause floods. He does not cause hurricanes. But some of the adversity of life that we go through make us better people, more compassionate. I can't tell you that someone came to me and they had a big sleeve, and I wore those sleeves after the rotator cuff surgery, and they were wearing a sleeve, and I said, oh, I am so hurting for you. And I remember Susan, who was on my staff at that time, she goes, he is so compassionate to anyone who has a shoulder injury. Why? Because I suffered with it for over a year. And I see people going through it because I've been through it. I understand their hurt. I understand their pain, and I'm able to suffer with them. And I think that's who God is. He says, you think you're the first one to go through that? I looked down and saw my son going to the cross. I looked down and saw things fall apart. I looked down at humanity and saw humanity fail repeatedly. My heart's been broken repeatedly. But when they get it, when they get me, life is better. We can be blessed despite heartache. In the days the Bible was written, the days, pre-Olympic days, they used to have these big games, and whoever would win the games, instead of a gold medal like the Olympics, they get this laurel wreath made out of olive branches, and they'd put it on their head. And when they'd won, if they were the victors, they would wear the victor's crown. They'd parade around and say, oh, they won, they won. You can tell by this wreath on their head. And Paul later says, joy is the crown of life. When you have joy that you're wearing, you realize, hey, you've been through some tough stuff, but you get it. And you come through it and you realize that God is with you. Joy is what we discover despite heartaches. It displays our trust. So one more story. Johnny Erickson Tata broke her neck in a diving accident when she was 17 years old. She did this when I remember when I was just a teenager hearing this story. And since then, she's spoken to hundreds of thousands of people all over the world, encouraging them to persevere. In an interview, she said, at the time of my diving accident, 17, when I broke my neck, I felt that God had turned his back on me. I was only 17 years old, and I imagined that God had become distracted by prayers of people with cancer, diabetes, or divorce. Where was he? Now, she said, she'll turn 75 in about a week. She said, now at 75 years old, I discovered God has always been with me, even in the middle of my pain. Sometimes the reasons for what happens are hidden from our sight. But what I do know is God loves to redeem, to reclaim, to rescue, and transform those who return to him. That's maturity and wisdom. So today, take your card. The one from last week is I'm loved, accepted, and free. Take this card with you, but let's practice it. Breathe in, will you? And breathe out. Now breathe in and say this as you breathe out. Every day is a gift. If you realize no matter what you're going through, that today is a gift. I've seen people who have terminal. They say, oh, but a terminal, I know, but you're alive today. My brother passed away, and one of his sayings was, I'm going to live until I die because every day is a gift. Can I pray for you? Father, thank you for the love that you show us every day. Thank you for reminding us that every day is a gift. Thank you for the joy of Christ in us and through us. Thank you, Father. Do your work in our lives today. Open us to more of you, we pray in Christ's name. Amen. Would you stand, please? I'm going to tell you a story in the end and just remind you communion's down front at the end of the service. I've told this story before, but I love it. It's a story of a survivor of a shipwreck washed up on a small, uninhabited island. You got the vision in your mind. He prays fervently that God would come and rescue him. And every day he scans the horizon for a ship or for help, and he sees nothing. Months and months transpire. Eventually, he manages to build himself a little hut out of driftwood to protect himself from the elements and to store his few possessions. Has a little fire there where he catches fish and eats the fish. But then one day, scavenging for food, coming back to this little place on the beach, all he sees is smoke, and he goes down and his little hut is burned to the ground. And he says, God, how could you do this to me? I'm lost. I'm so without why. That night he falls asleep on the beach, cold and heartless, heartbroken. I'm lost. Why? Early the next day, however, he woke to the sound of a ship that was approaching the island. It had come to rescue him. And he went out there, and as they came toward a little boat, he said, how did you know I was here? They said, oh, we saw your smoke signal. So here's the point. Remember the next time your little hut's burning to the ground, and maybe it's just a smoke signal being sent up to God to say help is on the way. I'm here to remind you he loves you today, and so do I. God bless. Thanks for coming.